What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here with another edition of Tobacco Talk, where I review a cigar and then I give you my thoughts on it in 4 key areas: flavor, draw, construction, and burn. It's everything you want to know about that cigar, but it's from my palate's perspective, and then I rate it as to whether I think it's noteworthy or not. So as the title says, let's cut to the chase. This review is on the brand new EP Carrillo release. It is called the Encore Black, and I have it here in the 5 3/8 by 52. I'll get into the Vitola name and all of that goodness with the blend. But let's cut to the chase. If we're going to review it, there's only one thing left to do. Let's light it up. All right, I went with my usual straight cut, as you can see right there. On the cold draw, some really unique notes on this one. So I instantly get some really rich leather notes in there. There's some earthiness as well that's in there, but there's a really, really distinct like molasses note as well as like a blackberry. I'm not saying that because Encore Black, but it is to me, a very distinct like blackberry earthiness that's in there. Very, very unique, very good. But enough of that. Let's toast her up. Okay, upon initial light up, picking up a pretty quick and then quickly fleeting earthy note that's in there, quickly followed up by leather. There's a little bit of pepper that's in there. It's going from a white pretty quickly to a black pepper. It's a little bit of a black pepper now on the roof of my mouth towards the back of my throat. But yeah, you've got the little bit of earthiness that switches over to the leather, and then the pepper note, and then there's just I'm gonna call it molasses still. There's just like a richer sort of molasses note that's in there that's really, really savory, really good. So I'm gonna jump into the first third. When I come back, I will let you know what the blend on this happens to be, any information you might need to know, and well, of course, flavor notes and how it's treating me and all the usual things. So here's the first third. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the first third. Just a hint of a wave to it. Overall, not doing bad at all, though. Okay, let's talk about the blend on this cigar. The Encore Black is a completely different blend from the original award-winning Encore, just in case you're wondering, oh, did they just change the wrapper on it or the binder or something like that? Completely new blend. And so this features a Connecticut broadleaf wrapper over a Mexican San Andres binder, and then it has filler tobacco from 3 different regions in Nicaragua. It has Condega, Jalapa, and Esteli tobacco in it. And so those are the 3 regions for the filler tobacco. Let's talk about flavor notes in the first third. Very leather forward. The leather that was there upon initial light up is absolutely still there, but very leather forward. The other flavor notes of the molasses and things like that have pretty much all tapered down. The earthiness is still there. It's not an overpowering earthiness, but there's some earthiness in it. And the pepper that was in there that was starting to be a little bit of a black pepper on the back of my throat, roof of my mouth area, has tamed down a decent amount. It's not gone completely, but it has tamed down just a little bit, but very, very smooth, very refined. And so when you look at EP Carrillo's website and try and get some understanding or background on the cigar, different things like that, the intention behind the Encore Black is to have a sequel, if you will, to the Encore, the original one, but it's also to celebrate and commemorate 100 years of the Carrillo family being in the cigar industry and being around tobacco. So that's what's going on behind the Encore Black. You know the blend, you know the flavor notes. Strength on this, I would put it at a medium minus through the first third. It may start to ramp up a little bit. We'll see. I have a feeling it might just because of the Nicaraguan tobacco in there and the broadleaf and the Mexican San Andres. All those tobaccos together can amp up a cigar, but time will tell on that. The draw is doing very, very well. Even though it's a box press, the draw on 99.9% of every single EP Carrillo cigar I've had has been absolutely flawless, and this is absolutely falling in line with that, and nothing different whatsoever with it. So I'm going to jump into the first third. When I come back, I'll let you know of any changes in the flavor profile, any more information I can find for you on it, and we'll go from there. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the second third. As you can see here, the ash is doing quite well. And the burn has straightened itself out. It's not tapered anymore. It is doing very, very well. And the ash holds on for about this long, maybe a little bit longer before it fell off or I tapped it off for the first time. So I mentioned a second ago about this commemorating 100 years in the cigar industry, making cigars. What that really means is it's commemorating over a century within the history of the Carrillo family in the cigar making industry. So it's not specifically a 100-year commemorative cigar, but it does celebrate over a century in the cigar industry. Now let's talk a little bit more about the tobacco that's used in here. So the Connecticut broadleaf is what Ernesto Perez Carrillo wanted to spotlight or highlight with the Encore Black. And he took some extra time and detail going through and blending the cigar and making sure the tobacco is just right. And here's what I mean by that. The Connecticut broadleaf was fermented for 18 months. And so it was a nice long fermentation process with it to make sure it was, at its peak and the best place it could be for making the blend and having that be the wrapper. But then once the cigar was rolled, it was actually aged for 3 years before it was put out to the market. So a lot of time and dedication went into this. And if you know any of the EP Carrillo cigars, you know that time, dedication, and making sure it's done right is absolutely paramount to them. So let's talk about flavor notes in the second third. They did transition a little bit. So the leather note is still there. The earthiness is an undertone, but there's a really nice sort of toasted note that's in there. It's a toasted woodiness. I'm going to call it more of an oak because it is definitely a full-bodied flavor, full rich smoke, full body deep richness in the flavor profile. So you've got a little bit of that toasted note that's in there with the woodiness, but there's a little hint of some toasted nuttiness that's in there on the long finish. I only pick it up when I retrohale though. But very smooth. All of the flavor notes are very complementary to each other, and there's a hint of a cocoa note that I get just on the palate. I don't pick it up as much when I retrohale. So with the cocoa, with the woodiness, the leather, the toasted nuttiness, and all of those flavors, it is doing very, very well in the second third. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the cigar. When I come back, I'll let you know, of course, of any changes in the flavor profile. The strength right now, I'll let you know, is probably a good solid medium. It's not crazy strong, just a really good solid medium, but absolutely full-bodied in the flavor profile and the depth of the flavors in it. So I'll come back, I'll let you know that, and then, of course, I will let you know whether I think this is noteworthy or not. Ash fell. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the cigar. You can see right there, pretty much razor straight, doing very, very well as the cigar wraps up. Set that down right there. Okay, flavor notes as the cigar wraps up. That full body experience got even fuller in this final third. That pepper note definitely did ramp up. It does ramp up through the retrohale as well as on the palate. Black pepper now coating my tongue completely and on the roof of my mouth and the back of my throat, but it's not overpowering. Definitely there. That toasted woody note is absolutely still there. Unfortunately, the nuttiness did drop off, but I'm getting just a hint, and it's just on my palate now with the long finish, just a hint of like a caramel sweetness that's in there. Really, really good. The cocoa note is faint, but it's still in there as well, and the leather has carried its way through the entire cigar. Very good experience. So, how many of these are available? Where can you get them? All that good stuff. So, I got mine from a little guy that has a cigar shop. And if you've watched my channel long enough, you know what that means. That little guy and his cigar shop is a great place and a great resource. So they produced 2,000 of these at the initial release. They've hit brick and mortars, online shops, all those retailers. You can get them online. They are going quickly. They are going very quickly. The initial 2,000 boxes that were created are already sold out, so they are in your brick and mortars and available. They are intending on releasing later in 2024 another release of 3,000 boxes. So a total of 5,000 boxes for 2024 is the plan for this Encore Black, and that's it. They are going to be, producing this long term from my understanding, so it is going to be, a cigar that you can get next year and moving forward. But if you want to get it this year, if you want to jump on it, if you want to see what all of the PR campaign that David Spurt with EP Carrillo is doing and with all the different social media posts and all that, what all of that is about, you've got to go and pick it up for yourself. What's the price on it? The MSRP on this is $17. So judge for yourself whether or not you want to pick it up. They come in 10 count boxes. That's what they're produced in. They've got little dividers in between each one of the cigars in there. But 10 count boxes, $17 a piece. You can do the math. So overall, do I think that this is a nub-worthy cigar? I absolutely think this is nub-worthy. I liked the pepper. I'm not usually a pepper bomb kind of cigar enthusiast, but the pepper in here was not overpowering for me at all, but mixed with the woody notes, with the leather, the hints of cocoa coming in and out, the little bit of nuttiness that was in the second third, finishing off with a little bit of some caramel sweetness in there. Absolutely delicious. So my take, my palate, my experience, but I would encourage you, if this sounds like something that you may be interested in, go and find it and get it for yourself. But I can't tell you what to go purchase. I can just give you my experience from my palate. Highly recommend it. Absolutely nub-worthy. I would say strength on this cigar probably ends at about a medium plus. Didn't go up a whole lot more from the second third to the final third, and the draw stayed absolutely flawless through the entire time. I didn't have to relight it. I did have to do one little bitty touch up on it, and it really was just one of those things where I wanted to just continue making sure that the Connecticut broadleaf burned evenly. Was it necessary? No, but I did it anyways. So that's been my experience. Absolutely nub-worthy, but you've got to decide for yourself. So those have been my thoughts on this new Carrillo Encore Black. Go and check it out for yourself. This again was the 5 3/8 by 52 box press that I've seen it released in. So go and check it out for yourself if you're interested. But as I say every time, enjoy your cigar journey, everybody. I'm Cigar Show Tim. As always, I'll see you.